Hi there. Ready to get started on the faces and hair of the characters we were working on from our last video? Great. We're gonna shoot them in the face to make them beautiful. Watch, I'll show you what I mean. First, let's make sure we're using the most expensive art supplies. Yes, that pencil from 1989 with the frogs, or whatever those things are, should be just fine. Is the eraser missing? Ah, thank goodness. Could you imagine using a properly functioning pencil? Ugh. Now that we know the importance of quality materials, let's get started. All of these characters will be simple, but if you remember from our last video, the complexity increases as we go, starting with this one, the simplest of the four. First, cut her ugly face in half horizontally, then divide it into thirds vertically. By the way, once you get the hang of these characters, you can totally skip the guidelines. Next, where the crosshairs meet together, shoot her in the face with some small circles. Now, let's draw 5 small lines, 2 at the top of her eyes going outward a bit, 2 above for the eyebrows, and 1 for her word maker, mouth. This will be halfway down the bottom portion of her face. Now for the hair. Start where the top of the circle meets one of the vertical guidelines. Then curve downward, almost reaching the halfway mark on the side. Repeat for the other side. Now draw a rainbow from one shoulder around the head to the other shoulder. She spent 3 hours this morning doing her hair, so don't make it flat. Make sure there's a gap between her head and her hair to show thickness. Now erase the guidelines. And that's it. Keep in mind that all of these characters will start with the same 3 guidelines as before. Headshot. Oh, nice. Oh, sweet. Variation number 1. Well, now that we've shot him in the face, let's circle the bullet holes and add some lines up top for the eyebrows. Variation number 2. Draw a sideways D just like that emoji that you do way too often. Then draw a line at the top from side to side for the teeth, and a curvy thingy for the tongue. Variation number 3. Let's give him a big nose. Start with a hook, like the letter R between his eyes. Then bring it around straight at the bottom. Actually, that kind of looks like the British pound or the Turkish lira. Oh, it looks like Ash's hat. What? Variation number 4. This simple hairstyle will be similar to the previous one, except that the ends of the rainbow connect to the sides of his head instead of his shoulders. Variation number 5. Make his hairline jagged and uneven to appear messy. Make sure to keep the points facing the same direction, away from where the 2 parts of the hair meet. Now erase the guidelines. Sometimes you will have to draw over what you erase. That's perfectly normal. It's like pooping. Everyone does it. Moving on to our Illuminati Assassin. Start with the same guidelines, but now we're going to add 2 more. One halfway on the bottom portion, then another halfway below that. This is a very simple placement for her nose and mouth.
360 no scope!
Variation number 1. Draw incomplete circles around the eyes, keeping the bare spot in the middle of her face. Try to make her eyes ever so gently cross-eyed to appear like she's looking directly at you. We'll make her eyebrownies a little mad by tilting them inward, also bringing them down to touch the eyes. Variation number 2. At the next guideline, make a small horizontal mark to indicate the nose. Variation number 3. At the bottom guideline, draw a frown connecting at each 1/3 mark. Now make a little mark below that to indicate the fold in her bottom lip.
Why?
Because when you frown, your bottom lip pushes out, creating a slight shadow. Variation number 4. Make the same rainbow as before, except this one starts and ends at chin level. Now make a line across her forehead above her eyes for her bangs. Extend the inside ends of the rainbow partway up the head, scraping the edges of the bangs. Now add a bun at the top with 3 triangles for a decorative hairpin. You can make the bangs a little jagged if you wish. There you go.
Level up.
Variation number 1. Eyebrows on fleek in 3, 2, 1. Draw thick lines at an inward angle covering part of the eye dots. Then, on the outside, extend a line from the eyebrow down to become level with the bottom of the eye dot. Don't forget the guidelines for the nose and mouth. Variation number 2. Make a small M at the second guideline down, then curved lines going up from the edges. Look at that magnificent sniffer. Variation number 3. At the bottom guideline, make a rectangle that is squished on the top and bottom. The width of this rectangle is going to take up the entire middle third of our last guideline. Don't forget the shadow under the lip. To include the teeth, simply draw a line in the middle going across for his manly snarl. Hey, his right eye is bugging me. Can you fix it? Just redraw it a little lower. Yeah, he looks like my Aunt Mabel after Taco Bell. Thanks. Variation number 4. Start with the same rainbow coming off the head as before, except we're going to add a downward facing pentagon in the middle covering the top of his head. Now extend the rainbow down the front of his shoulders with a slight inward curve. From there, summon a line curving around, gently caressing the side of his face until you get back to the pentagon. Variation number 5. Let's add a Master Shifu mustache to this character. It just seems fitting, doesn't it?
It's time to play.
OCD artist! Each artist will choose a piece of the drawing that he or she is not happy with, then for some inexplicable reason, completely erase it and start over. Yeah, Bob, I can't imagine what our next competitor will choose to change, but in the last 27 years I've been doing this, well, one thing I've learned is that no piece of art is safe. Now, this is interesting. He chose to change the bottom of the hair instead of part of his face. Wow, I did not see that coming. It looks like he's extending the outside line of the hair, but keeping the bottom line, creating the illusion that the hair is falling behind this last character. That's a great strategy to make a lateral move and not make any actual progress in the drawing. See, the key to this game, so many artists forget, is that you have to waste time and make changes that don't matter. Yeah, I think that's what makes this sport so unique, Bob. You gotta work against your instincts to make it out on top. A lot of inner turmoil in these competitors. Oh my god! Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a real competitor in this year's OCD artist. I think he could take home the trophy, Mike. Yeah, no doubts about that. Well, that's it for this episode of OCD Artist. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see our competitors add clothes, armor, and color to these characters. Should be interesting, man. I cannot wait to see what our competitors have in store for the quarterfinals. I'm Bob Arfeed, and I'm Mike Rapsmells, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night, everyone. Hi guys, thanks for watching. My name is Andrew Bosch, and I know this one ended kind of weird, but I had to show that inner perfectionist that so many of us artists have inside ourselves, namely me. So this is the second video in a series of 4, so be sure to get a hold of all of them. And I will also be doing the same series in chibi, manga, and realistic styles. So subscribe to keep up with the videos to come, and until we meet again, have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.